However, as time passed, the master became increasingly saddened, as if a veil of bitterness clouded his gaze. He became more silent and thoughtful during the long nights he spent in solitary prayer, the only time he had peace to converse with the Father without being disturbed by the people and his own followers. His warnings multiplied, and his disciples did not like to listen, for they were becoming enthusiastic about the success and publicity of the entire movement. Some even began to imagine that he would, in effect, be the liberator of the people, an armed revolutionary, subverting the established order. Judas was one of those who imagined himself serving a revolution more military than moral, and so, behind the scenes, he plotted to expand the movement, making contacts with other disaffected people and clandestinely spreading the news that the day of freedom had arrived. The Jewish Passover celebration was approaching, and Jesus' desire to spend this day in the people's capital, where all who could travel flocked, bringing its streets to a boil, was one of the strongest indications that, deep down, Jesus was going there to start the revolution. Supporters of this idea, tainted by moral misconceptions, believed that Jesus had begun his apostolate the way he did to gain more and more followers among the people, spreading blessings and healings so that more and more people could learn about his power and join the cause. Therefore, Judas reasoned, what better time than Passover to begin the movement? There in Jerusalem would be thousands of people who had been cared for by him, healed by his hands, who had heard his words and been enchanted by the promise of a new kingdom. That would be the best place for the movement to begin. And so, using his closest friends, he secretly spread the news so that no one would know its origin, that in that period the change of things would begin. They were to prepare with armed resources for a possible fight against the Roman invader. At the appropriate time, the order would be given, and everyone should be ready to face the vastly outnumbered Roman enemy entrenched within the city walls. It would not be difficult to overthrow the invader and, upon his defeat, establish a new order where the tradition of Abraham would occupy its rightful place, as Yahweh had once promised, in the remote ages described by religious tradition. Thus, things were prepared, in the climate of the unproclaimed but hinted revolution, when Passover of the year 33 arrived.